what made you decide that you wanted to start your OnlyFans? Kind of get into that moment for you.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I had gone through a divorce and my mom had died. So, both of my parents have passed away. And I really was just a single mom with a very small support system. And being on a teacher salary, I just started getting caught up in a poverty cycle. My dad had died when I was 16. He was living at a park at the time, and it was just really important to me. I wanted to be the cycle breaker of the family. I was one of the first kids to go to college and get my degree. And then I found out very quickly upon being a single mom that that teaching degree was not going to get me anywhere close to my dreams in life for myself and my children.
How long had you spent doing the education portion, though, to get to where you were as a teacher?
Yeah, so I had been a teacher for about 20 years before all that happened. So the majority of my life, it was all I knew. It was my identity. I loved it so much. I was really good at it. And so there was a big grieving time um, when I left teaching. And I feel so deep in my soul that it's coming back full circle in some new and beautiful ways.
Okay, well, I love hearing that. I just want to talk a little bit more about the teaching. What age did you teach?
Yeah, so I have experienced teaching all ages, but my last position teaching was for fifth graders.
Fifth graders. Okay. And what was the pay? What were you making a year?
I was making about $55,000. But with the cost of housing, even in a place like Indiana, just my apartment alone was almost an entire paycheck. So you can see how easy it is to start getting caught up in a poverty cycle, especially when you're a single mom.
Right. So you get divorced. Was there alimony, child support, or were you really helping these kids on your own?
Um, I ended up not having child support at that time. Um, but like I had mentioned, my mom had died shortly after getting divorced. So I wasn't in a desperate financial position in the very beginning.
Okay.
I did have some financial support. Thankfully, my mom had left a little something behind. But kind of towards the end there, I was starting to feel the real stress and trauma that people are under when they are starting to worry about even their basic needs being covered.
Right. So, and that's what I'm trying to get at. So it's like you were doing all the right things. You had a little bit of money, but you couldn't really get ahead. And you were in the middle of, not even the middle, you had spent decades having this career. You now have these two children that you had to support. And it's not like during, I think a lot of people, there's a misunderstanding that when people get divorced, they get child support, they get alimony, and you have some extra income coming in to at least help you with that. But in your situation, you really didn't.
Correct. And but what I tried to do in the meantime was to empower myself, and I would do lots of different side hustles because everybody knows that you need extra income streams. So I did everything from reading tutoring, coaching women on reclaiming their body. I used to be 220 pounds. So I really had a passion for that. Got my certification in group exercise and even create a sublimation business on the side. And I would create shirts and tumblers and lots of other things. So I was looking for creative ways to bring in extra income. It just wasn't something that was going to be sustainable, and it wasn't helping me get out of the debt that was incurring.
Okay, wait. Sidestep this for a second. You were 220 pounds and you were working at the time and also trying to get fit and in shape. Like, take me back to that.
Yeah, thank you. After my divorce, I really had one of those glow ups where I reclaimed my body. My mom was really overweight growing up. My grandma was as well. She was maybe well over 300 pounds. And when I watched my mom die of cancer, she died of adrenal cancer, actually, which is very rare, but it makes sense to me because the adrenal gland pumps cortisol throughout your body. So that's really showing me that her nervous system was overactive for many years of her life. So I come from a long line of obesity. I ended up getting a tummy tuck, a trainer, getting in shape and reclaiming my body. So that was really the first step on my journey,
Wow.
coming home to myself, really.
Wow, that is so impressive. And I'm just curious about your opinion on, the whole trend in the last couple of years of Ozempic and those kind of shots. Did you ever find yourself wanting to take that? Did that, was that something that was part of your journey?
Yeah, not initially, no. So my journey was diet, exercise, did keto. I'm like every other person out there, especially who has struggled with their weight, where you have tried everything. You cannot out nutrition or educate someone more who has been integrated into diet culture, because they could probably explain exactly how to lose weight. But um, I think it really made me look at all the different ways that I could empower myself.
Hmm.
So I actually started dance aerobics. I do a program called Work and hip hop aerobics, weight training, yoga. So somatic therapy was one way that I learned and discovered how to move trauma out of my body. Actually, I didn't know that's what I was doing at the time,
Hmm.
but later on, I realized when you have a lot of trauma in your life, it gets stored in your physical and energetic body, and you
Hmm.
got to find a way to release it. And so I found a lot of fun and empowering ways that helped me really tap into my body. And my journey was really more about learning how to have self compassion and being gentle.
Hmm.
But I have tried semaglutide more recently. I'm not on it right now, but I think for me, I believe that any way that a person, any tool that a person finds that helps them reclaim their body and feel empowered is a tool that they should try. So for me, it's a no judgment zone always.
Right, right, of course. Okay, so now let's talk about what happened. You made the decision that you were going to try something new. How did you hear about OnlyFans? Had you signed up for it? Did you watch someone else's to see what they were doing?
That's a great question. I probably should have. But no, basically, there was a mom in town who had started a page, and she had been posting that she had made about $10,000 her very first month. And for me, being very entrepreneurial, I was like, dang, I would only need to do this about 2 months, and then
Right.
I could pay my credit card debt off. So unfortunately, I didn't actually know anything about the platform. I really didn't have any time to explore on it or learn. I didn't have a fan base at the time. Um, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into,
Right.
because I'd heard of the platform, but I didn't know really what was happening on the platform.